Okay, hi everybody. Jim Kress here with Eli Machen, and
Greetings.
yeah, we'll let the audience build just a little bit here on Facebook Live. Thank you so much for joining us here today. You can go to my website, the one we're going to be talking about today in this Facebook Live, which is integrityredeemed.com, www.integrityredeemed.com. And we're going to talk about what we're doing at Integrity Redeemed here in 2017. So that's integrityredeemed.com. Coming to you from my office here in Charlotte, North Carolina. The town is actually Matthews, North Carolina, here in the Charlotte suburbs. And we've been shooting some other videos today for your own projects, which we'll talk about at another time. And then for what I'm doing with Integrity Redeemed workshops. In 2017, Eli and I have embarked now on several different workshops we've set up here in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, dealing with men who are struggling with pornography, any type of sexual unfaithfulness, affairs, and certainly what is often called sexual addiction. I just wrote an article for a major publication, a major magazine, the American Association of Christian Counselors, Christian Counseling Today magazine, and using some of the Barna research, showing the stats, which we already know anecdotally, are so very, very high. You can guess that probably pushing somewhere in the vicinity of 80% plus of men in churches across America are struggling with pornography. And if not that, then other things they might view that are rather pornographic, whether they fit the standard mold of pornography or not, whether that's a Victoria's Secret catalog, certain scandalous television shows, or things they can watch in YouTube videos, etc. And of course, if those men are struggling, what we know about the brain, how that works with looking at pornography, with the pleasure center of the brain, then they're going to probably act out to the pornography, and then past that, most likely they're going to develop certainly a compulsion, if not a sexual addiction. We're here in our Integrity Redeemed ministry and workshop not just to curse the darkness, but to light a candle. We're trying to encourage people, not scare people, that this is a real issue, and we have more help and hope than you have problems. So let's talk about that for just a moment. And in our Integrity Redeemed workshops, we're going to look at the trauma, if you will, from a person's past, some of the things back there that are driving you to do this sexual acting out. We're going to look at the whole addiction cycle. We're going to look at some of the issues that people have from their life story, what their various fantasies are, the way they act out sexually. It ties back in often to early life experiences. Absolutely. And a whole lot more. One of the things that you bring to, among many gifts that you bring to our workshops, is you look at the losses of the spouse. So many men we've worked with, they have a difficult time understanding the devastation of what they've done to their spouses or partners. Yet you've talked about your own story. You've lived through that. Talk about what you bring in that element of the spouses and the damage that's happened to them.
Well, a lot of that, Jim, comes with the recent research I've done around the brain and what's been going on with that. And so we bring that into the workshops, and we even help the spouses in the spouses workshop, understand what's going on neurologically in their brains. See, the reaction is, here's an idea, a concept, if I can delve into this.
Sure, please. I love it.
Is that the addicts, there's two places of the brain where we carry what we know, the implicit and the explicit knowledge. Mm-hmm. So it's like with the spouse, their perception of what the world is carried in the parietal area of the brain. What they sense about themselves in that world is carried in the lower part of their brain, closer to the limbic system.
Right.
Now, our brains are designed to maintain a certain amount of confidence in what we know, so that says, okay, we're going to live, we're going to survive. Now, the addict is known on both sides of the brain, his life. Mm-hmm. There's been no secrets for him, and so, or her, and so they've been on both sides of the equation. Both sides of his brain knows the truth.
Right.
The spouse is one side of her brain is thinking, oh, this is my life, this is my marriage, this is my spouse, and this is the way things have been. And all of a sudden wake up one day and realize that these two parts of her brain do not match. And the brain panics. And that, to the brain, frightens it, because it's like, if I don't have confidence in what I know, I could die. And that's the reaction a lot of times spouses get that the addict doesn't understand.
Let's talk for a moment before we move off that point. about gaslighting. I own the movie, Alfred Hitchcock movie called Gaslighting. And I won't ruin the movie, but that's kind of where this concept comes from. These wives wake up, I call it the Russian spy thing. They wake up and get devastated that the man I've been married to, or if I'm dating a guy, the guy I'm dating, oh my word, this is not at all who I thought he was. And a wife then or a partner is going to revise the history back and go, they mean this around our honeymoon, or when we were on this vacation, or when we were at this special event, or when we thought we were exclusive here, really this was going on. So we use the term gaslighting, which is powerfully devastating, especially to wives. What do you see in the realm of gaslighting?
Well, I think that well, first of all, I just kind of take it off the cuff here, but the part of my reaction is this is a trauma.
Totally.
This is a trauma experience that we cannot minimize any longer for spouses that are out there, what they're going through, because they're going through a trauma reaction. And the fact that all of a sudden they realize that the life that they lived and the person they lived it with that was never real. Now they're grieving the loss of that person that never existed. They're grieving the loss of a relationship that never was. And that really is baffling for the spouse.
And especially for the partner or the man, the male sex addict, the guy who's been unfaithful, says, no, it really wasn't that. This is the gaslighting piece, right? You know, it's not what you thought it was. Or if it's going on right now, the wife says, but it looks like he's been looking in porn, or he stays up late at night, or I saw a note or a sign or even GPS or something. And it's like when someone shows you who they are, believe them. And yet it's like, no, that's not what I'm really doing. And that gaslighting is even more traumatizing, because the wife sometimes or partner will know in their gut or their soul, they'll say, I know something is wrong here. I smell a skunk. I don't know where it is. And that piece is really
and they're being told
devastating.
it's just a roses.
Yeah, it's like
it's nothing. You know, quit being so insecure.
Sure.
Quit being, and they're put down for what they think they see.
And they are seeing what they see, even if they don't know exactly what it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that really messes with the brain, and that takes a long time for that brain to get back together. And so, you know, one of the things that we teach you guys in the workshop is that, it's not going to be undone overnight. You're going to have to. Here's something I'll say. One of the things that spouses, and I'm one of them, has done is I've gone through life thinking it's my responsibility to trust. So I give out trust.
Sure.
Only to realize later on, it's like, I should have trusted because I got burnt on that one, or I was betrayed, or I was deceived, or I was whatever. And it's like, I thought it was always my responsibility, my job, my character to be trusting of others. Well, we're married, or we're in love, or we care for each other, or we're in business together, we should trust. I think that you would know this reference, but there's a proverb that says, the prudent sees evil and hides himself, but the naive proceed and pay the penalty. Thinking that I've got to trust somebody without them earning it is naivety for me, and it's cost me a lot over the years. I just, so that's one of the things we really work out, and I teach that to the spouses is what does it look like when trust is earned, and what do you do with it?
Well, we've talked about that trust, like two roads, is built over time plus experience. And sometimes there'll be many men we've worked with, certainly not all have done this, but many have said, okay, I've repented, or in Jesus' name I've changed, or I'm not going to do it anymore, and I'll tell you everything I've done, and now you should just start trusting me right now. I almost like I demand you to trust me, or how long is it going to take for you to trust me, when it often can take a very long time for when a spouse or partner begins to know what they know and go, they revise the history back, connecting the dots and go, so this is really what was going on. I was right. I saw that sign and it was right. Trust can take quite a long time. And I don't think it just could take a long time. I think it should take a long time. You've got a whole video series on this.
Yes, I do.
It should take time to rebuild trust.
Well, now, here's a key, and I think it's really important. We're going to teach this with the spouses when they come to the spouses workshop, is that trust begins from the inside out.
Yeah.
It's that, like, I can be around trustworthy people, but if I am unconvinced that nobody can be trusted, then it doesn't matter what they do, I'm not going to trust them. And conversely so, if I trust what I know, if I've built trust here, then whatever situation I am with, whoever I'm with, I don't have to trust them because I trust me. And that's some of the things we're going to teach in the spouses workshop.
The idea, I love what you just said there, of starting to embrace or believe that I really can trust me. Often they're in such shell shock. A spouse will be over there just kind of like with a concussion of what's gone on. If they look at you, and you've dealt with so many spouses through the years, and they would say, I don't know that I can trust me. I don't even know what the heck I can trust at all anymore. And the shame factor, which we've talked a lot from Brene Brown's work and other places we've dealt with shame, these people often, a spouse can look and say, I don't know who, including going vertical, that I can even trust God. Why would, I've been deceived all these years. When they turn it internal and say, I can't even trust myself, or I think I was stupid, I knew better. They pour that contempt and shame. When a spouse does that, where do you begin with them?
I begin with that internal process of trusting themselves, writing out their story. I have a whole series, as we don't need to get into it here, but a whole process of working through that from the inside out into creating that safe relationship. Now, we teach some of that in the couples workshop,
Yeah, right.
as to how to create safety in a relationship where trust can be earned.
Well, this is a slight commercial break, folks. Where do they go to get your video series? And that is not, we don't show them videos when they come to Integrity Redeemed Workshop, sit them down and show. Your videos are as good as anything, I think better than anything else out there on betrayal and rebuilding trust. How do they go, if they want to view them, to be able to subscribe to them, to take some time to say, so this is what it means to be, whether it's the addict, the guy, or the woman, where do they go to find your videos?
Well, you can find that, the link to get to that would be on my Facebook page, Show Up 365, and you can go there and you'll see a video that I'm talking about this program,
Right.
and you can go to the link and it'll take you to the page, explains and outlines everything that's on the program and what you get. So you can see that there.
Show Up 365. No dots, no dashes,
No,
just show up.
At Show Up 365, and it'll take you right to my professional Facebook page, where you can then see the video right there at the top. There's a link to that.
All right, let's just throw this out for a
Okay.
minute. You and I have led workshops for a lot of great organizations. We have some coming up in 2017 where people fly us out to a certain city, and we will do couples, a unique kind of couples workshop. You know the one we're talking about. We do there. But these are what we're doing here in Charlotte, North Carolina, called Integrity Redeemed Workshops. Why us? Why are we different? What will we offer? Not that others aren't offering, but what's unique to what we're doing, minus that we've got a lot of years of experience doing this, not just individually together. What's the uniqueness? You've seen it all.
Well, I think that, several things. First of all, we've been there. So, when we're working with couples and we're working with spouses and we're working with addicts, we've done our recovery on either side of that equation. We know what it's like to create and build a trusting relationship.
Which is interesting because my journey is being a grateful recovering sex addict, a pornography addict that I've been in recovery from for years. Yours was never that, but you were
I'm a recovering spouse, yes.
So tying both sides in together, we've been kind of on both sides.
And we bring a unique piece to this whole thing is that, we bring a complete picture to that. And I think that along with the more recent research and techniques that we bring into this whole process, I don't think anybody in the country can compare. With the price and the days that we do this and the intensity, I know the programs. I know them out there. You do too.
Well, yeah, you founded and kind of led and developed many of them.
So I know that no one is using some of the more recent technology that we're using in our workshops. I know they're powerful. Go ahead.
Well, part of, is the work that we've done. You and I we both know this, are very grateful for the places we've been able to work. So grateful. We've been able to sharpen our saw blades and all that. But we've felt that many times to come to say, as we're very, very, very close friends, what would God have us to do? What is it that we would love to do on vision, on legacy, on looking at the issues based in research around trauma, around neurochemistry, brain chemistry, about, especially for the men, helping men to just be able to intersect their relationship with God and with each other, because it's all about an intimacy disorder, among other things, and to get real versus just sitting around cognitively saying, did you do it this week? Did you slip? Did you struggle with, the problem? Staying vague, which is will kill you. Vagueness is like carbon monoxide, colorless, odorless, tasteless gas that kills. So we don't want to be vague. So we're bringing together, and I say this about Integrity Redeemed, this is far more than a sex addiction workshop. We're going to really help men be men. And really help them understand what's blocking them. These guys, nobody signs up for this stuff. Nobody wants to be a sex addict or to destroy their family. You say, yeah, they do some. And when the day is done, there's no glory in that. So these guys are trapped, and they've tried to stop and can't. One of the great signs of addiction. So what we're going to do here is, and we're going to always keep evolving, aren't we, to say what other new research is out there, what works with men more than just talk therapy.
Right. You know, when you've heard me say this over the years, that you know, if recovery is about sobriety, then you've set the bar on the ground.
Yeah, slightly.
You know, your recovery, your journey, your work, your process, everything you're doing is becoming that man that you always intended to be, to become that woman you were always intended to be, and to have the marriage that was all God always intended for you to have. And so, you know, it's about getting there to that place. You mentioned intimacy disorder. You know, God wanted us to show up buck naked at the show up place.
How do you say it in the South? It's naked, right? That's how my wife says it too in the South.
Naked.
Buck naked.
And it's like from the Garden of Eden on. I mean, he wants us to show up without shame, to be known and to be embraced in our nakedness with one another. And so no secrets, no hiding. And to know that somebody in your world knows you inside and out and loves you. That there is nothing any more powerful than that.
That original narrative that we've talked about publicly, you and I together, leading workshops that we've talked so much about privately, is in Genesis 3 where, you know, they're there and the whole thing, I mean, it is perfect, let's face it. And then here comes in the story and the narrative of the serpent talking, and then Eve is there, and then she takes the fruit and gives it to her husband who was right there with her in the Hebrew. He was right there with her. He had several chances, Adam did, to say, hey, we need to stop. He had the power to rule and subdue the garden and didn't. And he takes it, and then very classic, I've never been a woman, so I'll speak for us guys, us dudes. When God comes and says, Adam, what up? What's happening down there? And he says, we're naked. And we've done this.
Running around buck naked.
Yeah, he's like, you've been running naked in front of God, doesn't matter. And, you know, and it's the end. And when God says, what's happened down here, in that narrative, and Adam says, it's that woman that you gave me. He blamed woman, and he blamed God, and men have been doing that to a large degree ever since. Well, if women wouldn't dress this way, and if women would just give me more sex, and if you believe this bullcrap narrative that sometimes is out there, that a man needs sex every 72 hours, go talk to a good urologist. That's a lie. That is not true. You don't need that, okay? And if you'll Google this when you're done, read about a female ferret. The female ferret's the only creature, if she doesn't mate when she's in heat, her estrogen levels rise so high that she can die. That's not who you all are. So the issues, they're there, and Adam's there, and he goes, thought, well, I'll cover my inadequacies with fig leaves. That didn't work, so he jumps over in bushes, and you have this whole teaching you do in our workshop. And it's interesting that how we've continued to do that. We're hiding from God, we're hiding from each other. Genesis 2 ends, they were man and wife, and they were naked and unashamed. Curtain rises on Genesis 3, the fall happens, whatever you believe about that narrative, and suddenly from naked and unashamed to naked and ashamed, that's the root of so much of our sexual acting out, is we're grabbing fig leaves to cover our inadequacies, and then they're hiding in bushes, and it doesn't work. And it's time for you to come out of hiding. And I want you to go, if you'll mark it down, to go to the website integrityredeemed.com. integrityredeemed.com. If I've ever made a difference in your life just as a friend, or helped in any way through counseling or speaking or anything else, would you share this video to let people know? As Patrick Carnes says, he's the founder of our sex addiction field. If you think it's bad now, he says the tsunami of sex addiction has not even hit America yet.
It's coming.
It's coming. So we're going to ask you to do that. Go to integrityredeemed.com. By the way, that term, integrity redeemed, God gave me that sitting at home some time ago. I was just reading through the Bible late at night, went up and woke my wife Jessica up and said, look what I found. Psalm 26:11. David said, but as for me, not for Eli, not for somebody else, not for anyone else, but as for me, I will walk in my integrity. Redeem me and be gracious to me. This is not about reconstructing your story or rebuilding your story. It's about God's theme that he wants to redeem even all that acting out or secrets, to redeem that, having your integrity redeemed and helping you build a legacy. It's not too late. A legacy that will be one of purity and integrity. Even if your spouse doesn't stay with you, or you lose a job over it, lose your ministry, walking in your integrity. Go to Integrity Redeemed Workshop. We have several workshops for men, then for partners or spouses, and then for married couples coming up here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Eli and I do these together here in 2017. Someone you know, I'll guarantee you, could benefit from this. We need to get this thing out of the shame too.
Easy.
You can get in church and say, "Oh, I'm a recovering alcoholic," or like you and I struggle. We're both. Are we doing Weight Watchers right now?
Yep.
We're trying, folks.
We try.
But you can talk about being overweight. You can do that. Or I was a drug addict or a gambler or had $50 billion in credit card debt. But somebody comes in and says, well, I was addicted to pornography. It's like, run for the hills. We want to see the light brought into that more and more and more to say it's okay to talk about this. Best kept secret in the church.
And silence is what makes this thing grow anyway.
Of course. It's like mold growing under your house. Dark, wet, damp, secret, silent. No one wants to peek under there.
You know, I was reading a statistic not long ago, I think it was in Christianity Today, whatever, that they were doing a study in a survey, and they saw that and this was years ago actually, that 63% of the men sitting in church on Sunday morning are struggling with this.
And the stat is higher now. Rick Warren did a survey of pastors and had about that high of stats for pastors and men, and especially pastors who we love. We're both pastors at heart, went to seminary. Pastors will underreport. So when you see a stat, know that it's higher. And yet, where's this being addressed? So this issue is right in the center aisle of the church. You can figure about, go down the go, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Every other guy for sure is probably struggling with porn or some sexual acting out, hiding it secretly. It's terrible to carry that alone. I did it for too many years. So the problem is there. The issue is there. We just need the right help to be there. And that's, again, what
That's what we got.
And we've looked at so many things. There's nothing against talk therapy or bringing the Bible into that. We start off, we'll talk about the man at the pool of Bethesda. Love that. Remember that? You've taught that for years. When Jesus walks in, the guy's at the pool of Bethesda. Obviously, he's laying there. Legend is the angel stirs the water first when the pool gets healed. It's like Jesus walking into an oncology ward today, and he says, looks at the guy laying there. Obviously, he wants to be healed, and he says, do you really want to be healed?
And what's he do? He blames.
Well, right away.
He blames.
Sure.
Everybody gets in my way.
It's a fair question, because I'm going, Jesus, what kind of a dumb question is that? And I go, no, he's not dumb.
No.
He realizes that many guys say, I want to get better. I'll do anything. And you do, but there is a price to pay. And often, to twist a phrase of an old Christian saint of so many, many years ago, a writer, recovery and getting out of this life of bondage of sexual addiction, pornography, etc., recovery there has not really been tried and found difficult. The truth is, recovery has been found difficult and left untried.
Yeah.
Guys will write to me or talk to me and say, I tried to do this to get sexually sober and it doesn't work. And I'll say gently, take the T off, and you take T off IT, and it says not it didn't work, but I didn't work. Now, you did work some, but there's something that is missing. The hours and hours and hours that these guys have spent. Remember, it's not just, as you know well, not just the time they've acted out, but we have the addiction cycle that they're in preoccupation.
Oh, yeah.
I will, I won't, I might look at it tonight, the wife goes to bed, or
The
I got
rituals
this
can
time.
take years.
Then it's to do the rituals it can take, and then they act out, then they're in despair at this part of the addiction cycle. Many of you guys watching tonight, if not you, someone you know, have wasted hours just around the whole cycle. And there's a chance you can get back the years the locusts have eaten, not in the way you think, but going forward and say, I'm wasting no more time in doing this. We stay as sick as our secrets. Now, let's do this for just a moment.
Okay.
When these guys come in, and we have 4 intensive days. We've got one coming up right here in January, then one again next in March. What's up with this intensive thing? I mean, we both know. But you come to somebody and say, well, I can just see a counselor outpatient, which is good to do. We both have done that.
Oh, yeah.
But we have 4 intensive days that you can't get away from. It's just all day and then some into the evening. What's the intensive model all about?
Well, I think it's, first of all, we start early in the morning and we crank all until the evening. Now, the deal
And
is
not
this.
just in lectures either.
No. It's work. You're doing work. Now, the point is this. We've both been outpatient counselors, and there's nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. But to get you through the information and work and the process that we do in those 4 intensive days takes more than a year for me to do easily outpatient basis. It's too hard to get that much done in that much time, in an outpatient setting.
It's like 50 minutes, you're warmed up, you're like, now we're moving, time's up, we got to go. That's torture in some cases.
And so, so we dive in quick. We don't mess around, and we'll drop right in. We'll fish and cut bait right up front, and then we'll make our decision. We'll just keep moving. The pace will be set very intense. It's doable. It's not something to be afraid of, and we're capable of handling you right on through the whole process. When you walk out, you're going to know you got through it. You got every bit of your time and money worth it.
We're going to wrap up, and thank you,
That's
Eli. IntegrityRedeemedWorkshops.com. IntegrityRedeemedWorkshops.com. You are worth it. Someone you know is worth it. Some of you who are, we know often women are the ones who come to counseling more, sometimes are more in social media more. Pass this on to someone you know, because there is real help and hope that you can get on the road to recovery that lasts, and your legacy is about to be built in a new way, and some of you I know for sure for 2017. So go on to IntegrityRedeemedWorkshops.com. You can find out information about how to register there. There's an email directly, a phone number that you can get questions answered, and I want you to know that it's time for you to make an investment in your life. I got something I want to show you. Will you hold on just a second?
While he's doing that, I want you to remember there's a like button down there. I want you to like it. He may not ask you to do that, but I am. And there's a share. Share this so this word gets out. Go ahead.
Thank you for that, Eli, and I appreciate it. We're here to try to help people. We've spent our lives doing this, and we're passionate about what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
You know what that is? You know what that is? I'm on 2 different Facebook Live feeds right now. Both of you can see that. That's actually a real grenade. Now, the bottom, all that's inside has been taken out, but this is real. Some of you going through life right now, you're just carrying it, and your hand's on the pen.
Well, the pin's pulled sometimes.
Or the pin is pulled. Or you're saying, well, not me. I'm just carrying it down here in my belt, but it's still there. It's ready to go off. And that shrapnel, that blowback, is going to devastate your spouse, a partner, your kids, maybe hurt people if you're in ministry. And it's going to blow back and devastate you. Whether your hand's on the pin, some of you it's already been launched and there's just a mess, a bloody mess going on right now. I don't care what stage you're at. This can stop today where you are. We're not the only show in town. There are other places. You can Google. That's fine. We're all in this thing together, especially in the Christian world. But reach out today somewhere. Don't stay in secrecy anymore. Come out and get the help and hope that's available for you. You think this is like, fun for us to sit here? It actually kind of is to talk about a little bit because we've worked our recovery. But I wish we didn't have to be talking about this, but we are, because we want to see some lives changed. The Bible says the sins of the father are visited on the 3rd and 4th generations. You know what? That's not a curse. You can be that person that says, there was a man once, old Uncle so-and-so or Grandpa so-and-so stood, and the generational bullcrap stopped right there. And all that sexual stuff that Daddy had his porn stash and under the car seat and somewhere else hidden or wherever, it has to stop, and it can stop, and you can say, they'll look back one day and say there was a man or there was a woman. If you're in a marriage, you don't have to, as a woman, you don't have to sit and tolerate just a continual sexual adultery and guys being addicted to porn over and over, because that's re-traumatizing you, kind of like this. Thanks for watching. I do hope, and thanks for saying that you would like or share this video, because we want to make a difference. Integrity Redeemed Workshops. You can just go to integrityredeemed.com. I'm Jim Kress. Thanks for watching. For my friend Eli Machen.
Welcome. And we're looking forward to seeing you come.
Looking forward to seeing you. God bless.